Have you ever made tea and it tastes more like water than tea? Have you ever made tea and it tasted flat, or you feel like it wasn't as strong as it's supposed to be and you're not getting what you needed to be getting from it? It's probably not the tea. You're probably just steeping it wrong. And that's okay. That's fine, because guess what? I got you. Tomekia here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to steep your tea so that you're getting the flavor and the potency of what you're wanting and needing in every cup. Let's get into it. So, notes. You already know I gotta have my notes. If not, Tomekia gonna start talking about how to make tea, and then we're gonna be talking about how beautiful this tree looks in my backyard. We just gonna be everywhere, so we gotta stay focused and what? On task. All right. So the way that you steep your tea determines a few things, or distinguishes a few things. And if you guys hear my kettle in the background, because I'm heating up water, because we're gonna actually make some tea in this video too. So you may hear it. That's what you hear. Okay. And my chair squeaking. Whatever. Here we go. So the way that we steep our tea, brew our tea, tomato. The way that we make our tea affects a couple things. It affects the taste. It affects the strength, and it also affects the potency of the tea. So like how much of the medicinal properties are you getting from the tea, or how much of what you're wanting or needing from the tea you're actually getting. Y'all hear it? It's getting louder than me. I don't like it. It's competing with my voice, and my mic went dead, so this is what we're doing. All right, focus. See, I told you. I'll be going off. So the way you steep your tea, the length of amount of time that you steep your tea, what you're steeping your tea in, like all of those things matter. Like those little things that people think doesn't matter when it comes to steeping your tea, they matter. And I'm not doing this, so hold on. Because you're being rude. I'm not competing with the tea kettle. I'm not competing. Okay, where were we? So, all of those things matter. So if your tea isn't coming out the way that you want it to, the way that you need it to, small changes can make a big difference in how your tea turns out. Okay? So let's start with the basics. First things first, water temperature. Now, water temperature is going to depend on what you're making. So are you making a white tea, you making a black tea, you making a oolong, green tea, herbal tea? All of those things need different temperatures, different water temperatures. All right. Also, people love to say when I boil my herbs or when I boil my teas. We're not doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. We never, unless you are making a decoction, okay? Unless you are making a decoction, which you are not, you're making tea. Unless you are making a decoction, you never boil your herbs. Now, decoctions, that's another story for another time. We get into that in another video. Today, we're focusing on teas. Teas and only teas, okay? So, unless you're making a decoction, you never boil your herbs. You boil your water. And then you don't even boil the water. You let it get hot right before it gets boiling, and then you turn it off, okay? Get your water hot, and then you pour your hot water over your herbs, and you let your herbs steep, okay? We're going to go into that a little bit more in detail, but that's the gist of it, okay? Do not, I'm going to say it one more time. Do not boil your herbs. Do not boil your teas. Okay? They start off dry. You pour hot water on top of dry herbs and teas. You do not boil them. Okay? Do I need to say it again? No? We good? We here? Okay. Do not boil your teas. Do not boil your herbs. Okay? All right. So the hot water helps to open up and release the properties of your herbs and teas. If the water is not hot enough, then your tea won't develop enough. It won't steep enough. But we don't want to actually boil the teas and herbs. We just want to get the water hot enough so that your teas can do what it needs to do. Okay? Okay? All right. So next, steeping time. You might be saying to Tomekia, how long do I steep my teas? That also depends on the type of tea that you're having. Are you having herbal, having black, you having green tea? What you drinking? What's in your cup? What you about to make? That depends on how long you're going to be steeping that tea. All right. And also, how strong do you want your tea? Are you a person when you like it strong? Your tea is like a bitter strong? Or do you like a gentle but refreshing taste? What do you like? Now that's on you. Depending on once you start getting in there and start making your tea, how long you let it steep is up to you. Because there are guidelines, I guess you want to call it. That's the word you want to say? Guidelines on the heat of the water as well as the temp of the the temp of the water and the length of the steep. Goodness gracious. There are guidelines, okay, that people typically stay in. Usually, if we're talking about all teas overall, that can be anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes. But again, it depends on the tea. It depends on your taste preference. And it also depends on the heat or the temperature of the water. All of those things matter. Okay? So when it comes to the actual teas, anything comes from the tea plant, white, green, oolong, black, right? Any of those have a certain time limit, anywhere between, I'll say 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the strength in which you want. When it comes to our herbal teas can be anywhere from 3 to 10, even 15 minutes, depending on the type of herbs you have in the tea, right? So when it comes to our flowers and our leaves and petals and things like that, the softer part of the plant, those typically can be steeped 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how strong you want them, all right? If you want to go stronger, you want to go longer, hey, do you, boo-boo, you the boss. You get to do that. All right. But when it comes to the harder part of the plant, like our berries, our barks, our roots, those are going to take longer. Those are going to steep anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes because they are harder, stronger, sturdier part of the plant. So the hot water needs to penetrate those a little bit longer in order for you to get what it is that you're getting, whether it be the taste and or the medicinal property from that herb. So all of those things come into play when you're creating your teas, when you're steeping your teas. What is in your tea? What herb are you using? What herbs are you using? Because even if you got some peppermint leaves and some dandelion root, the root won't have to steep longer than that peppermint. So because it's steeping longer, your peppermint gonna be strong, but your dandelion gonna be right where it need to be because it had to steep longer. All right, we good? We good. Whew, goodness gracious. Where were we? Yeah, so all of that plays a part when it comes to your steep times. Okay, so the guidelines, right? The guidelines, or it's another word I want to use, but it's not coming to me, so we're just gonna use guidelines. So the guidelines when it comes to times and temperatures, right? So for herbal teas are going to be anywhere between 200 and 212 Fahrenheit, just at boiling, right? And we're going to let those steep anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Now, again, they could go longer if you want them to, and or depending on what herbs you are using or what herbs are in your blend or individual herb you are using, okay? For our white teas are going to be anywhere between 160 to 185 Fahrenheit, anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes. Our green teas is going to be 170 to 180, steamy but not boiling, okay? Again, 2 to 3 minutes. Our oolong teas are going to be 185 to 205, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And then our black teas are going to be 200 to 212, 3 to 5 minutes. Now, black tea, unless you are a black tea drinker, somebody that really likes black tea, you're going to have to keep your eye on this time. Okay? Because if you go over that 5 minutes, it will be strong. It may be bitter. Okay? All right? And then you got to start over. Okay? I will also say, give yourself grace. All right? Because if you're not typically a person who uses loose leaf teas or herbs to make your teas, and you're just learning how to do this, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. And that is okay. That is fine. Because even with the guidelines of suggested temperatures and times, you may like your tea stronger, so you may let it go longer. That is, hey, it's your prerogative. Do what you want to do. Okay? That is completely fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. I lost my notes again. It's completely up to you. Okay? Those are just guidelines. Those are just things that you may do. Those are just suggestions on how you can make your teas. But once you get comfortable with making your tea, once you know how you like your tea, then you can, it's like a recipe, right? Like, oh, I found this recipe. I followed the recipe the first time. But the second time I make this recipe, I'm going to put my own little slang on it. I'm going to do my own little thing. I'm going to do what I want to do in this recipe because, I tried it like that, but I think I like it like this. So I'm going to do what I want to do in that recipe. Same thing with your tea. Same thing with your tea. Now, a standard, something that has to, across the board, a guideline, whatever, across the board, your tea to your water ratio. That matters. Do I have this in my notes? Okay, I'm jumping ahead. See, I got stuff. See, this is why you need notes. So before we get to that, because I'm jumping ahead. Covered or uncovered? What you think? Now, this is something simple but powerful. Okay? So when you are making your teas, it is not a must, right? It's not required. This is just a suggestion. Now, you can do it without. It's completely up to you. You don't have to. I'm just giving suggestions. But if you want the full experience of your tea, the full experience of your herb, cover your tea. Cover your tea while it's steeping. Because, believe it or not, you're allowing beneficial compounds to be released as the tea is steeping. And if it's not covered, it's going up into the air. When making your teas, even the aromatic benefits are good for you. Okay, taking those in as you're drinking your tea, you're sipping your tea. Even those things can be beneficial for you. So if you are not covering your tea, you're letting all of that out into the air as it is steeping, and then you're not getting the full experience, you're not getting the full benefit of that tea. So, cover your tea. All right? Yeah. If I talk for too long, my throat gets dry. This is like my 3rd or 4th video today. I'm on a roll. So excuse-moi. All right, remember I was jumping ahead? Now we on track. So this is a big one. Because I've had so many people after they've gotten teas from us and they come and they're like, oh, Tomekia, like, it just tastes like water. It don't taste like tea. Your tea to water ratio, I think, is the most important. The most important. The temperature, the amount of time you steep, the cover and uncover, like all of those things are important, but this is even more important. And I want to say this for last because I want to really, really get y'all to understand this. Okay? Tea to water ratio is important. That's the nitty gritty of your tea. You get me? So, what is recommended? What is the guideline for making a cup of tea? So, that is going to be 1 to 2 teaspoons per 8-ounce cup of water. You want me to say it again? Let's say it again. 1 to 2 teaspoon per 8-ounce cup of water. Okay, so typically a regular, it's been a long day. Typically a regular cup, a coffee cup or tea cup, right? Typically they're anywhere between 8 to 12 ounces. Okay? Typical. There are some smaller ones, but if it's a regular cup, that's 8 ounces, right? So you don't really need to measure your water unless you want to. I don't. I've been making tea for a minute, so I kind of know. But most definitely we want to do the 1 to 2 teaspoon. All right. If it's your first time having the tea, tasting the tea, then you can do 1 teaspoon just to introduce yourself to the tea and how it tastes. If you are a person where you already know, like you like strong tea, you want to be able to taste your tea, go ahead and start with your 2 teaspoons. Remember, you're the boss. And that is the ratio. Now, this is a teaspoon. This is a teaspoon. This, the big spoon that the teaspoon can fit inside of, this is a tablespoon. Y'all see the difference? See the difference? So I remember one time somebody asked me how much to use. I said 1 to 2 teaspoons. She came back. She said, Tomekia, I had to stay home because it was a specific type of tea that I made for her, like a custom blend. And she was like, I had to stay home all that day because I was in the bathroom. I was like, well, that's what we wanted, right? We wanted, that was, she was like, yeah, but this was different. And I was like, well, how much did you use? She's like, I did 2 tablespoons. I told her 2 teaspoons. She did 2 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon is 2.5 teaspoons. So how many teaspoons did she do total? Oh, okay. And she wondered why she was in the bathroom all day? Oh, okay. But it did its job. But there's a difference. Okay? That is the guideline. That is a recommendation. Now, if you can, decide what you're going to do as far as the temp, the time, cover, uncover, all those things are up for, a little bit of sway. This is not. Teaspoon. 1 to 2 teaspoons per 8-ounce cup of water. That's not a guideline. That's my standard. That's how you do it. Unless you've been doing this for a while, and again, you know what you like and you switch it up, fine. But if not, let's start with the standard. 1 to 2 teaspoons per 8-ounce cup of water. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay? All right. So let's make some tea. Let's make some tea. But before we make some tea, let's talk about some common mistakes, right? So, the steeping too quickly. We already talked about that. At minimum, your tea should be steeping for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Minimum. If you want to go longer, do your boo-boo, but at minimum. All right? Now, using enough tea, we already talked about that, right? Mistake number 2, we already talked about that. Making sure you're putting enough tea into your water ratio. All right? Mistake number 3, leaving your tea uncovered. That's up for debate. It's up to you, to be honest. But if you don't want to get in all that goodness, that's your business. Don't leave it. Don't cover it. That's up to you. But if you want to make sure that you're even getting the aroma benefits from your teas, then cover your teas. Mistake number 4, not using water that is hot enough, okay? You want to make sure the water is hot the way that it needs to be in order for you to drink and get the tea that you want. And mistake number 5, rushing the process. This is not something that is like you can snap your fingers and it's done. It does take time. So when it comes to rushing the process, what I always suggest to people is like if you're drinking tea like early rising and you have to go to work or you have to get your children to school, the first thing you do is make your tea. Make your tea, and your tea literally can be steeping while you're getting dressed. Literally. Come in, put your hot water on, go ahead and put your tea in your cup, in your tea bags, tea ball, whatever, however you're going to do it, put it in there. And then while you're doing that, the water should be right where it needs to be. Pour the water over there, go in there, start putting your clothes on, doing what you're doing, come back, your tea is ready. Boom. You can be drinking your tea while you're doing your makeup, doing all your other little things. You're getting your tea in. It does not have to be a rush process. All right? If it's a tea for bed, do it while you're cleaning the kitchen, wiping down your counters. Let your tea be steeping, doing what it's doing. When you finish cleaning the kitchen, guess what? Your tea is ready. You could be sipping on your tea. It does not have to be a rush process. Okay? Tea works best when you slow down and allow it to do what it's meant to do. Okay? Don't forget that. But let's make this tea. All right. So, how are we making this tea? The water's getting hot. I'm going to be competing with the tea kettle, so hope y'all can hear me. So, how are we making our tea? There are multiple ways to make tea. I will be doing a how to make your tea series where we're talking about the different ways to make tea. So, we're going to go over them real quick. You can have a actual little teapot with the infuser already in it. You can have tea infusers. This is our little teapot tea infuser. This is our tea house tea infuser. You can use bags. Make sure they are unbleached bags. They are going to be the best. So, but it's whatever works for you. Okay? When it comes to making your tea, it's whatever works for you. Alright? Alright. So, me, I like off the bat 2 teaspoons in my tea. So, whoop, I got some in my cup. We're going to dump that out. I don't like my husband can make tea and he don't mind the tea leaves. Like he be drinking it, the tea leaves in the cup. I don't like it. It'll feel weird. So I do 1, 2. Alright. Pour my hot water. Let that steep. Okay? We're going to let that steep. Okay? So what are we steeping? We're steeping our sweet nothings. This is my daughter's favorite tea to drink. So we're steeping our sweet nothings, which is a white tea with marigold flowers. Yes, you can drink and make tea from marigold flowers. White tea, marigold flowers with some peach and apricot chunks. So it's a little, white tea, very refreshing with a little sweet peach and apricot flavor to it. Okay, this is what our teas look like. What our leaves look like. So you can see and it also has some lavender in there, so I forgot about that. It got a little bit of lavender in there. So lavender, peach, apricot, marigold flowers, and the base is white tea leaves. Okay? So, it is steeping. The water got just, not to boiling, but warm enough. So we're going to let that steep. Alright, so our tea has steeped. Alright, so as you can see, our tea has steeped. Color is not, with white tea, the color isn't really dark. It's more of like a light color, but it has steeped. Okay, so we're going to pour it. Now I did see it was covered, all the things. Alright, so we pour it. So it's not mandatory, but I do like to add a little bit of agave into my tea. I need my spoon. Stir a little bit. And there go my tea. So good. Like I love the way warm tea, when it's a perfect temperature, warm tea, just like you could just feel it going on. It just feels good to me. So in a nutshell, that's how you make your tea. All right, so just to recap, all right, so there is a water to tea ratio, right? So 1 to 2 teaspoons per 8-ounce cups of water. That is the standard, okay? Standard guidelines, tomato, that's what it should be. All right, but when it comes to the time of steeping, as well as the temperature of the water. There are guidelines for those, but those can be swayed a little bit depending on how you personally like your tea and how you like your tea to taste. Okay, what you use to make your tea, again, that's also up to your personal preference. But what was the main thing I said in this video I need you to remember? What was it? Do we know? Do we remember? Is it in your notes? Do not boil your herbs. Do not boil your teas. We're not making decoctions. We're making teas. Decoctions are something completely different. That's another lesson for another time. We are only making teas. Okay? Okay? All right. So if this video has been helpful, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and also let me know, what are you making? Like, what is your favorite tea during this season? Also, head over to airpalewellness.com to check out all of our teas and herbal infusions. And if you want to be a part of the community circle, go ahead and click the link in the description. Our community circle is like our private tea party, like our private tea group, our special tea group, where once a month you receive an exclusive tea that is not available on our website, and we meet virtually and we talk about the tea, we make the tea live, we talk about all the benefits, all the things. We also have watch parties where we're talking about documentaries, we're reading books together, we're doing all the things. And then once a quarter we have an actual in-person meetup. It's called our special tea party, where we come together and enjoy each other's company and the community around making teas. Always remember, nature provides. Until next time, peace.